So if you're like me and you're looking at long hallways, hospitals, things like that, and you're like, I've got to mop this hallway, it probably automatically makes that back hurt. All right, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about something that really should touch everybody's heart if you're in the cleaning industry. Have you ever got to the point where you're mopping hallways, mopping big rooms? You're like, there's got to be a better way to do this. Today we're going to talk about, do I need an auto scrubber? Is there a way to get out of the mopping of hallways and mopping of huge warehouse space or whatever it might be? Not only do it faster, but make it so your back doesn't hurt, save you on that labor time. Let's get into what an auto scrubber is and do I need one. So today I'm here with auto scrubbers. This is the replacement of that mop and bucket. Not only can it be faster, it can reduce your labor time, so how much money you're gonna have to pay out. This is a piece of equipment that is not gonna call out on you. What usually takes 2 people to clean on a nightly basis, you could probably have 1 person clean. So in essence, this is, for the layman's term, it's similar to a lawnmower. If you're thinking about a lawnmower, you run it over your grass, it cuts the grass, and it picks up the grass, and it bags it. Same thing for this. This is dropping water on the floor, scrubbing it, so cleaning your floor, and then picking it up and putting it into a soiled tank, similar to your grass clippings when you're using a lawnmower. So let's move forward and let's talk about why we want to use one, what are the benefits, different sizes, different types, the cost, and where you would use them. So let's talk about the benefits of purchasing an auto scrubber. This could be one of the most expensive things that you ever buy for your company. Buying an auto scrubber can range from $500 to $50,000 depending on what type of scrubber. So with us, we're looking at integrating a scrubber into our cleaning process to save us on labor costs, because labor costs are the most expensive thing that we pay every month, right? So by putting an auto scrubber like this into a building with long hallways, that's saving us, let's say 2 hours a night. That in turn is gonna pay for itself over time. Now, something like this is a smaller auto scrubber. A lot of people think, well, this is a cheaper auto scrubber because it's smaller. Not necessarily. When we're looking at auto scrubbers, usually the smaller they are, the most expensive they are. So you can buy auto scrubbers in 2 different figurations. You can buy them in corded electric, which means anywhere you go with this auto scrubber, it's got to be plugged into the wall, similar to a vacuum. Or you can buy them as battery powered. So what that means is they're onboard batteries that inside this machinery here, there's multiple batteries that you have to charge, and then it just runs. So that is the most, for us, most attractive way, because if I'm not worrying about a cord, it's going to save me time and in turn save me money in the form of labor. Let's talk about other configurations that you can get. You have an upright scrubber. Those are used for very small areas with a lot of obstacles. So think of this as in restrooms, lobbies, could be offices that have hard floors that need to be scrubbed. Those areas are even smaller than the scrubbers that you see here. Think of those as something the size of a vacuum, an upright vacuum cleaner, where it's dropping the water, scrubbing it, and picking it up. A smaller footprint, so to speak, and those technically are more costly than what you're seeing here. They're very delicate, but in areas that you have to use them, that's really your only option. Now let's fast forward into what we see as the most available, the most recognized scrubbers that you're seeing. These are WalkBehind battery-powered auto scrubbers. This is a 20-inch, and this here is a 15-inch scrubber that we would use more in healthcare environments, so patient rooms, things like that, where I can't turn this one around. Now, while they're similar, and a lot of people will think, well, this one's got to be a lot cheaper than this one, it will actually be surprising. The more that the technology shrinks, the more expensive they become. So for us, when I'm looking for a scrubber, I'm gonna go for areas in buildings that are either wide open hallways, warehouse space, or areas that we are either taking chairs in and out and we're pushing desks out of the way and we're scrubbing large areas. So now that you know what an auto scrubber is, let's talk about the benefits of using it, other than it will make your floors a lot cleaner. So when I'm looking at buying an auto scrubber or integrating an auto scrubber into my cleaning process, I'm looking about increasing a worker's productivity. So increasing someone's productivity means saving money for me on labor and having them complete his or her duties quickly and efficiently. In addition to that, I'm also looking at possibly even introducing an autonomous auto scrubber. So what is autonomous? Well, a lot of people have seen those little vacuums that can vacuum your house while you're sleeping. That's what autonomous auto scrubbers are doing for this industry. You plug in something like this and it will just go and auto scrub all of your hard floors and then return back to its charging station and charge itself and be ready for the next night. There is some management with that, but again, look at it this way. If you pay money for an auto scrubber that's going to do this all by itself, that auto scrubber is not calling in sick. That auto scrubber, his grandma doesn't pass away, so it needs time off. Very, very expensive, but at the same time, it will also pay for itself. So the other thing I look at too is the benefits that come with something like this when it's wrapped around workplace injuries. So if you imagine mopping a floor every single night, that plays a huge toll on your body. The back and forth motion, filling up mop buckets. A lot of our workplace injuries come from mopping floors. Other than dusting or cleaning the restrooms, mopping the floors in a building is the most labor-intensive job that we can do. If I can substitute that with something like an auto scrubber and have them ride it back and forth, push it back and forth, not only does that make it less likely to have an employee get injured, it also, a lot of times, makes that job that they despised now something that they enjoy, something that they want to do once a week, twice a week, whatever it is. So introducing an auto scrubber into that mopping process and substituting that is something that not only makes your floors cleaner, it also makes your employees happier. Now, let's look at also what type of scrubber that you need. There's so many types, hundreds of types of scrubbers, different brands, different colors, whatever it might be. So to do that, when I'm going out to buy a scrubber, there's a few things I would need to know. How large is the area you're trying to clean? Is it 50,000 square feet? Is it 200 square feet? Knowing that's gonna help me know what type of scrubber that I need to buy. Secondly is, are there any obstacles in the area? Am I going in, I'm like, well, I have to scrub this restroom and there's 50 stalls. And I'm like, well, this little guy's not gonna fit. And this big guy, he's definitely not gonna fit. So then I need to know what type of scrubbers there are on the market. If you look at these are WalkBehind Scrubbers. What you don't see here is an upright scrubber and a ride-on scrubber. So what is an upright scrubber and what are ride-on scrubbers? An upright scrubber is basically an upright vacuum that instead of vacuuming, it's dropping water on the ground, scrubbing it, and picking it up. So as you can imagine, this is a very compact, lightweight scrubber, and it's designed for areas that are under 500 square feet. So you're looking at restrooms, you're looking at maybe locker rooms, offices, a small lobby. These are machines that usually you're not leaving on site, you're bringing them back and forth with you, putting them in your vehicle. They're very delicate, and believe it or not, they're probably one of the most expensive scrubbers you're gonna buy, other than a ride-on or an autonomous, so basically a robot that's gonna do that. We talked about upright scrubbers. You don't see one here. We really don't use them very often. But then the second one are these. These are automatic walk-behind scrubbers. These are both battery operated. If you see, we have a smaller one for our smaller areas, such as operating rooms, patient rooms in hospitals, things where this guy, I can't turn him around. So I won't be able to turn him around in a small space. But the theory is exactly the same. It's dropping my water, it's using the pad to scrub it, and then it's using the squeegees, as you see here, and a vacuum motor to pick up the water and leave the floor clean behind it. So things you have to know, where are you putting this thing at, right? You're gonna have to go to your site and be like, okay, I'm gonna use it for long hallways. Or then let's say you're like, okay, I can use this 20-inch machine, but I'm looking at a gym that's 75,000 square feet. Maybe it's time to get something a little bit bigger, because while this is faster than mopping it, it's not faster than getting a ride-on scrubber, which is, if you see this here, this is a 20-inch. Let's say you had a 60-inch deck on a ride-on scrubber. That's gonna get that gym floor clean a lot faster than this one is. And I know what a lot of people say, well, that one's a lot more expensive. You're correct. But what's gonna take you 7 hours to doing this is gonna take you 2 to doing that. So doing the math, that investment is gonna pay off. So instead of having to pay somebody 7 hours a night, you're having to pay them 2 hours a night. And within a year, you're saving a lot of money. Lastly, autonomous scrubbers. That's that robot scrubber we're talking about. That's the one you put the water in. A lot of them filter the water, clean it as you go, use a lot less water. You don't have to be there. You have to have a manager start it. That's your most expensive machine. And a lot of people are thinking, well, isn't it dangerous if I'm not watching it, if I'm not physically on the machine? What if it runs someone over? They're very, very, very smart. Sort of like that Tesla that people are out there driving. It's not gonna let you run somebody over. It's gonna stop before, it's gonna turn off, it's gonna return it to its charging port. Do your research on something like that, see if that will benefit you. But those are the types of auto scrubbers that you can have. But what fits you? Unfortunately, it's not a one-size-fits-all environment. I can't give you this, send it to your house, and you're cleaning an office building, your offices are under 200 square feet, this guy's probably not going to be very good for you. This one might work, but it's for you to take that knowledge that you have and say, which scrubber do I need? With that, take all this knowledge that we talked about today, all this information, go out there, look at your buildings, see where you want to do it, see if there's a benefit, and make the right decision for your situation. But ultimately, an auto scrubber is a huge, great investment for not only your business, but for the overall cleanliness and health of a building, and for the health and welfare and safety of your employees. So thanks for watching again today. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments, and we'll make sure we answer your comments and questions. Thanks again.